So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and in today's video we're going to be discussing something very interesting regarding the DLC3 Zombies map. Now we know the zombie maps are following a pattern where it's based around a certain character, and it's our job to complete the Easter egg, find the original version of our characters, and sacrifice their soul and the summoning key. The only one we need now is Nikolai, and we know that this is going to reside in the third DLC map, which is going to be based in Stalingrad. Now so far it's been pretty easy for our characters to get the souls from our original versions. Tank Dempsey didn't really have a say in anything because he's in a cryogenic chamber anyway, and Takeo 1.0 and Zetsubo no Shima seem to understand and would have rather died in honor than stayed where he was. Now something tells me it's not going to be quite so straightforward with Nikolai in Stalingrad, and we have this quote from Richtof in which I made a video on around about 2 weeks ago, which makes it sound like it's not going to be as straightforward.
Maxis, Smansa, Eddie, they are safe. Dempsey too. Maybe Takeo. Oh, Nikolai, why must you fight it?
So there we go, we have Richtof in there saying, Nikolai, why must you fight it? Which is extremely interesting. Now a YouTube user called XXS has made a video of a theory where he thinks Nikolai 2.0 could be the test subject that we'll be getting the soul from rather than the original 1.0. I thought this was a wicked theory, and I wanted to bring this to you guys as well as expand upon it to show you parts which make even more sense. Basically give the theory the evidence legs to stand on. Now in September of 2015, Treyarch released a official campaign story video which showed off a little bit of the jumping between different times, where we have it set in the future as well as setting in the past, and we see a flash of a mission which is called the Demon Within. Now during the trailer we see the sequence which is in the campaign where the player is interfacing with Sarah Hall's DNI, and that way the player can literally experience what was going on inside her mind, and in doing so takes us to her nightmare world, which includes a battlefield of World War II known as the Siege of Bastogne. Now during this transition sequence, if we slow it right down, you can see some very interesting images. I remember seeing this back before Black Ops 3 came out, and even then I thought this looked very similar to Nikolai Belinsky, but as you can see there's two shots there of a person which looks very similar to Nikolai looking away from the camera, and then another shot of someone up close which almost looks like they're in a sort of test subject sort of position. To me it even looks like the sort of cryogenic chamber that Dempsey was trapped within during Der Eisendrache. It definitely is very suspicious looking, and it does look very familiar to something that we would see in Zombies. And the actual chamber that he's in is identical to the CIA Black Project test subjects chambers within the Black Ops 3 campaign as well, which again bear a resemblance to the kind of cryogenic chamber that Dempsey was in. And if we take a look at this picture from Der Eisendrache, you can see what looks like all three of the test subjects that we've been going around looking for in their cryogenic chambers. But jumping into the mission itself, Demon Within, it's a battlefield of World War II known as the Siege of Bastogne, which is extremely interesting, and this actually takes place sometime in 1944, which does line up very well with our zombie story. Now that's not me suggesting that at this exact time there was a version of Nikolai Belinsky out there fighting in the war, because it wouldn't quite work with the timeline of Zombies and where our characters are at right now. But we do have multi-universes within our timeline right now, so anything can really happen. Now the next bits of evidence is making me really believe that this could be the case, and there's some very interesting collectibles in this level specifically when you're out in the battlefield. All of them are Russian, including a Russian field compass, a Russian hat, as well as a Wagner gramophone record. Now combining all of those objects and then looking back at the Nikolai Memories trailer released in December, we pinpointed quite evidently that Nikolai is sat within a house that takes place within the Demon Within level, and in one of the shots you can actually see a gramophone in the background. Now we know that gramophones are quite evident within this particular Zombies timeline, so it's not a massive deal, but seeing that gramophone and then seeing you pick up a gramophone record sword, as well as 2 Russian objects, it is a nice little correlation. And there's no doubt in my mind, as well as yours, that the house within the Demon Within is the exact same house that Nikolai is sitting within during this Memories trailer. It is exactly the same. And another thing to mention as well is the Demon Within is the only mission within the campaign entirely which features zombies and hellhounds being dire wolves. Now that's very, very interesting as well. And the only way for Sarah Hall to have possibly see and experienced this inside her mind is if one of the test subjects had experienced it beforehand. And who better and more obvious of a test subject choice could it be than this to have all been experienced before by Nikolai Belinsky. Sarah Hall herself didn't experience this. This is all from a different test subject's mind implanted into hers. Now you might start to feel like this is actually becoming a really, really cool theory, and you've got to remember as well that the multiverse theory idea is something that exists within the Zombies timeline. We have evidence of this from Richtofen's little paper scrap from Shadows of Evil, which shows at least 20 to 30 different Earths, which means that's 20 to 30 different universes. And there's nothing to say that we can't find the 2.0 versions of our characters in another universe whilst we are playing as those 2.0 characters. There could be a universe that exists where Nikolai 2.0 decided not to stay with the group and actually went back to his old life, something which the Nikolai 2.0 in our timeline desperately wants to get back to, just normal life with his family. And through some crazy circumstances, that is how we could end up bumping into this other version of Nikolai. We see evidence in the Giant through radios as well as the Zetsubo no Shima trailer where we see the multiverses just happening in front of our eyes, where all of the characters are dead, then certain characters are dead, and then they're back again. It is just playing on the idea of this multiverse theory where one certain action can influence the action of 1,000 different universes. It's just a absolute crazy thing to think about, but this does hold a lot of evidence. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you think this guy is Nikolai 2.0? It definitely has a weird resemblance to Nikolai, but also some people would say this also looks a little bit like Reznov. I just think due from the images and the position that we see this person in, it looks like they're a sort of test subject which could definitely be along the lines of Zombies. There isn't normally a lot of correlation between the Zombies and campaign storyline, but you have to think that this is both made by Jason Blundell. This is the only level to feature actual zombies as well as hellhounds, and we have Nikolai in the Memories trailer sat in the same house that is in the Demon Within mission. There is a ton of crossover here, and this could be a good chance that they want to mix things up a bit, and rather than it be so simple as us finding Nikolai 1.0 and killing him, we could actually be killing a Nikolai 2.0 version. It would maybe help to explain why Richtofen says Nikolai, why must you fight it, when talking about having his soul within the summoning key. Let me know what you think of all of this down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like rating, and make sure to check out XXS's channel down below in the description, for the bulk of this video was his theory. I thought it was so cool that I wanted to bring it to you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on another video very, very soon.